time here bright and early on Monday morning to get our figure skating summer camp started. We have 5 days of all kinds of cool things planned for our campers. Every day is a different combination of coaches and assistants and all different topics. So throughout the week, they will learn things that they don't normally get to work on during their group classes or private lessons. And hopefully this is going to be a really great challenge that helps all of them really grow in their skating skills. All right, so our session is just about ended. We're going to swap it out with our summer camp. Let's get this started. Day one began by a off-ice stretch and warm-up session led by Coach Louisa. We were going to do this out on the lawn, but it was just too hot today, so we stayed inside in the cool air conditioning. Then we headed out onto the ice for a 10-minute on-ice warm-up. Our first learning segment today was all about jumping. All the different skaters are at different levels, so they all have a different jump, which is their current hardest, but we gave them all a chance to show those to us and we gave them feedback. And then Coach Sarah took over, and her segment was about uncaptured gliding maneuvers. So in ISI, anything that's not in a specific level is considered an uncaptured maneuver. And of course, with Coach Sarah teaching, we were going to get a Hydra blade. She is so good at these. The students all gave it a try. Some of them did really well. It was really exciting. Some of them had some crazy falls, but all of them gave it a try, and I'm really proud of how they all did. When Coach Louisa and I gave it a try, it really didn't go so well. This goes to show that no matter how long you've been skating, there are still things that we find a challenge. Speaking of challenges, this Y spiral was a challenge for some of them. Our Coach Louisa is amazing at it, and some of these girls are really flexible, and some of them had a big challenge getting into that Y spiral today. But everyone gave it a try. We definitely had some tumbles throughout. Another segment we did today was our US Figure Skating skills tests, formerly known as the Moves in the Field tests. We did a number of different patterns. My favorite challenge for all of the kids was this forward edge circle 8. It requires a lot of core control, but these kids did a really good job trying it out. And we are almost done with day one of summer camp. We are finishing with half an hour of power. So these kids are going to be absolutely dead. I know some of them were saying they were dead an hour in, and now at the end of power, we're going to be in trouble for tomorrow with how hard these kids worked. But we still have a parachute race, a parachute relay race coming up to end day one. Every skater had to go all the way down to the wall and back 2 times, trade out that parachute with the next person on their team, and then it repeated until we had a team that was the winning team. Coming through, high fives, winning team. Good job. And Michaela, where did she go? Good morning, skaters. We are back here for day 2 of our figure skating summer camp. In just a couple of minutes, this lobby is going to be full of kids stretching and getting ready. I'm so excited to show them all the things we have planned for them today. Day 2 began with our half hour of off ice today, led by Coach Jennifer. They were all showing a little bit of fatigue after a full day of skating yesterday, but they still showed up and put in the work, so I'm proud of them. It's so important to make sure you get a good warm-up before you go out and skate. You want to make sure your muscles are warm and stretchy and flexible so when you're out on the ice, you don't get injuries doing things that are truly challenging for you. And then we headed out onto the ice for our 10-minute on-ice warm-up, this time led by Coach Devin. First segment of the day was led by Coach Jennifer, and we did rhythmic skating. Skaters got to use hoops and ribbons. And this was actually one of the things that the skaters said was the most fun for them this week, was learning how to use these hoops. They learned how to do tosses. They learned how to trade them between each other. There was quite a few very cool things that they got to do with these hoops. And then, of course, the ribbons. Everybody likes playing with ribbons out on ice, so this was a really fun segment. Then we had Coach Devin working on turns and twizzles with these skaters. Some of them are definitely at a level where twizzles are a good challenge, and some of them are not quite there yet, so they were working on more simple turns and trying to connect 3 turns together. Then I took over with a segment on ice dancing. I was really excited for this. I was able to teach the kids chassés,
swing rolls, and progressives. And then as a big challenge, we tried it together as teams, as pairs. What might seem like a simple maneuver at first becomes a lot more challenging when you try to do it with a partner, because then you have to have the timing, you have to have the same size lobes. And we finished off by teaching them a Killian spin, because in free dance you get to do some fun spins. Then we moved on to a section on artistry, trying to use your arms and your head and your whole body, not just your legs when you're skating.
What we're going to think about is taking that hand, yeah, exactly, and following it with your eyes and your chin. So instead of taking that hand and just going all the way through, that motion is following through.
We ended the day with a little section on interpretive skating, so choreographing your own program on the fly. I missed getting any footage of that, but the kids had a great time and got off the ice happy with how day 2 went.
And that is it for day 2 of our summer camp. Things went great. It was a fun time had by all. Now we are gonna set up for tomorrow's camp. Very excited for all the things we have in store tomorrow. Good morning, skaters. We are starting day 3 of our figure skating summer camp, and boy, the kids are tired this morning. We got a little bit of a smaller crowd starting today. Hopefully the rest of them trickle in once they actually wake up. But today our warm-up is starting in the sunshine. We're enjoying a little bit of vitamin D before we get out on the ice today. Let's check this out.
Today's off ice was led by Coach Janella. And while it's been really hot this week, it started out just cool enough that we got to be in the sunshine for a little bit before heading indoors to finish our off-ice warm-up. We then had our quick 10-minute on-ice warm-up led by Coach Devin again. And then Coach Janella brought us into a segment where we were working on Ina Bowers and spread eagles and some of those things that need a lot of flexibility. This can be such an awkward maneuver for people, but they all took on the challenge, and some of them did really well. I see a lot of Ina Bowers in these kids' futures. We had one skater whose flexibility seemed to go the opposite direction, and so I taught her how to do an inverted spread eagle, and we had a lot of fun playing around with that little inverted spread eagle maneuver. Have you ever tried one of these? Ina Bowers are one of my favorite moves, so I was very excited to show off my Ina Bauer. I love this maneuver. If you ever catch me with my skates on in a few minutes and want to see it, I will be so happy to show it to you. It definitely feels like a signature move for me. Coach Janella then took them through a segment working on different kinds of turns. Footwork often gets neglected for jumps and spins when skaters are out practicing. So we did quite a bit of different versions of footwork throughout the week. I think some of the skaters thought this was maybe a little bit more boring, but gosh, I love footwork, so I'm always excited to see them working on it. Then we had Coach Devin coming in with their amazing, epic-looking slides. We have a whole tutorial on these epic slides if you want to catch Coach Devin teaching them. But the kids had a lot of fun trying slides, and we gave them all a challenge to make their slide as unique and personalized as possible. We then moved on to uncaptured jumps. So we were working on stag jumps and split jumps and mazurkas, all of which I have tutorials for, so if you want to check them out, you can learn those skills as well. Then we moved on to uncaptured spins. So there are also spins that are not attached to any of the ISI levels, and this was a chance for us to work on those. We did attitude spins, stork spins, hair cutters, a number of different spins that are just really cool positions that aren't necessary for passing a level. There was a group of skaters that were a little bit lower level, and so I went over and worked with them on doing their wind-ups and really trying to improve their one-foot spins, because you can't really do an uncaptured spin without a strong one-foot spin. And here we have a beautiful hair cutter from one of our skaters. It's so fun watching their improvement throughout the week. And then Coach Devin and Janella taught some pair skating, which is super fun. This isn't really serious pair skating like what you see in the Olympics. It's more like fun stuff you can do as a duet if you ever were in a competition with a friend. But we did partner spins, we taught them how to do a beginner version of a death spiral, and we had a lot of fun trying different partner spirals, either forwards or we did star spirals, and the kids really enjoyed this. It's so much fun to get out there and skate with a partner.
All right, it is the end of day 3 of summer camp, but I still have a whole afternoon of private lessons and then group classes this evening, so it's a long one today, but camp went well, so now we get to get ready for day 4 tomorrow. We are getting started with our day 4 of skating camp. I have to say, I am getting tired by now. Yesterday was a 10-hour day here at the rink, and I'm feeling it, but the kids are feeling it too. I just popped out into the lobby where we have our off ice going on, and out of the 22 kids expected today, there's only 10 so far who've been able to make it to off ice because they're just so tired. Hopefully they all start rolling in and we get all of them out on the ice this morning. But let's check out that off ice.
For day 4, Coach Jennifer was back to lead them in another off ice. Our numbers certainly are dwindling with our off ice class. You can see it's quite a few less than we had at the beginning. We have 24 kids signed up for the camp today, and you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 standing here doing off ice. So quite a few could not show up in time this morning. But by the time we got out onto the ice, they were all there because we started today with jump harness, and they were all excited to get to be on the jump harness. We had a harness going on both rinks. So on one side, we had the more beginner kids who'd never been on a jump harness. And on the other side, we had the more advanced kids who are working on axles and double sows and moves of that kind. Today we had Coach Naomi with us, and so her first segment after the jumps was working with the kids on things show skaters might do. She was a former Disney show skater. So we learned how to do spirals in blocks, which was a huge challenge. We learned how to work in a circle as a team. We had a few tumbles as we had some of the kids who weren't quite as strong as the other ones, and so your grip has to be really good in these circles as well as your balance. But they did great. They really took on the challenge. We learned how to do splices as well. So a number of different things that you might do if you were to be in a show or in theater. And then Coach Sarah came over again and taught combination spins this time. So we've had just single spins, we've had uncaptured spins, and now it's time for combination spins. So this spin ended with a broken leg, and they learned how to slide out of that broken leg, which resulted in quite a lot of time spent tumbling on the ice. But you could see over the course of this segment a lot of improvement from the skaters. For the more beginner group, Coach Naomi took them through the same positions. So that they did an attitude position, a broken leg position, and then a knee slide. So hopefully they will eventually be able to put those positions into a spin pattern. Another segment, we did another round of interpretive skating. Now that the kids have it under their belt a little bit, they got to really let their personalities shine through on this second round of interpretive. It's so great to practice interpretive because how many times have you gone out to do a program and forgot what you were doing for a moment and had to make it up as you go until you remember? I know I used to do that as I was learning to compete in some of my earlier levels. And so learning to do interpretive programs is super helpful for filling in the gaps if you ever forget what you're doing due to stage fright. We ended today with a really fun segment learning how to do some lifts. Since we have such a big age and height difference from the skaters, it made it really easy to work on some performance style lifts. The kids absolutely loved this, and it was done with quite a bit of supervision. We had 4 coaches out there watching so that we had adequate spotters. But this was a really fun way to end our day 4.
Walking in for our final day of our figure skating summer camp. Very excited for all the stuff we have going on today. It's going to be a fun day, but we have a lot of things to teach them still. So let's go in and get them started with their off-ice warm-up.
Our day 5 off ice was led by Coach Palo. He got in town just in time from his training to be able to help them all out with their final day of summer camp warm-up. We had quite a bit of jump drills, which he is so good at, so I'm glad the kids got to experience this. After our on-ice warm-up, Coach Paolo started us all off in a really fun competition day. So they had learned so much throughout the week that we decided to make the day a little bit of a competition. And we had a big scoreboard to keep track of all of the different ways that kids were winning. We had the fastest overall skater. We had a skater who held their spiral the longest. We had a skater who held their shoot the duck the longest. We had someone who held their shoot the duck the nicest. We had who could land the most waltz jumps in a row. We had a fun competition doing artistic knee slides. It was such a fun day. We came up with as many different categories as we could based on things that they'd learned all week so that they could test their skills against each other. We did spin combos, pairs maneuvers, all kinds of different things. The kids had a lot of fun, and I dug out an old box of medals and handed out medals to the winners and to everyone who'd had perfect attendance. After a fun morning of competition, we had Louisa, Janella, and Jessica all there to teach the kids some synchronized skating. So synchronized skating is a huge team sport. And this is kind of similar to some of the stuff they learned in theater, but with the idea being more unison and timing. Such a fun way to end a really great week of camp.
All right, skaters, we have reached the end of our summer skating camp for 2024, and what a great camp it was this year. We had 26 different skaters attend, 13 different coaches participate, and we covered a total of 30 different subjects. So these skaters got to learn a lot. We did jump combos they've never done before, spin combos they've never done before. They learned ice dancing and pair skating and rhythmic skating and synchronized skating. It was a lot of fun. And we also had a lot of falls. Every time you're learning something new in skating, there are a lot of falls involved. And with the permission of these skaters, we have put together a montage video of all of the different falls, and that will be going up on Sunday. So make sure you come back on Sunday so you can see all of the falls that we had, or at least all the falls that I captured during our summer skating camp this past week. All right, skaters, I hope you enjoyed this little tribute to our summer camp. Happy skating, and I'll see you next time.